Alright, so this is kind of a tough extreme theme deck. Basically, the theme of this deck is space. It could only have cards. Like, I extended the theme to the spell and trap cards as well, because lately I've just been doing them to the monsters, because extending the theme to the entire deck usually results in some really unplayable decks, but I thought I could probably pull it off with this because there are actually some pretty good cards that have space in their theme, like Dark Hole, MST, Galaxy Cyclone, etc. And the monster side of it was actually the problem. Because I wanted to include a bunch of different archetypes and not just use galaxy monsters. No Photon, I only wanted to use galaxies because Photon, that's not really space, that's like, nucleuses and cells, and a Photon is like I forget what it's called. They're in, oh man, I haven't taken a science class in so long, I don't even remember. I know what a Photon is, but I can't remember what it is. That's weird. I know it's like in the atom or something. Anyway, so I just stuck with the galaxy one, so there's no photon monsters, even though galaxy and photons go together, and some of them have actually photon in their name, but I just chose galaxy because, galaxy, they're out in space. Plus, Helios, Trice, Megusa, and the Primordial Sun, even though they're all just really terrible cards. So bad. They were never good, not even when they were out. But I mean, you can get a free Primordial Sun off of Macros Cosmos, so this is like the only decent one, only because it's level 4 and you can use it to go into rank 4 plays. But they actually kind of work in this deck since they're all light type monsters. So the fact that they're light type actually made them useful, which meant I can discard them for Galaxy Soldier. So yeah, this deck ended up just really relying on the Galaxy thing. I even put in a Neospatian Grand Mole, because there's the Neospace cards. Like, I can only think of 3 archetypes that really deal with space. There's Neospatians, the Galaxies, and the Helios. And the Helios monsters are garbage. Neospatians are not a good deck. The only viable deck they have is a Neospatian OTK. No, the Hummingbird OTK, which I totally could not do if I was going for a full space theme. But luckily, Neospatian Grand Mole is a good card on its own, so I just threw that in. And the Galaxies, well, They totally just carried the deck. If it wasn't for them, this deck would just be absolutely terrible. And as for like spell and trap cards, there's Time, Space, Trap Hole, Space Gate. Space Gate's so bad. I only put this in here because I used to use this card in real life back in the day, just because I didn't have that many. And I kind of just threw cards together because the people I played with at school, they had really bad decks and they were really bad at the game. So we just played fun decks against each other, because if I used my macro Monarch deck, I just win all the time. That was my best deck I had. It's still a pretty good deck. Like, you can't do it anymore because Macros Cosmos and D-Fissure are both at 1. But back in the day, and for a very long time, they were both at 3, which made that deck really fun. Remember when I came back from the game, came back to Yu-Gi-Oh! After taking a break from it for a few years, when Yu-Gi-Oh! Online went offline. I took my Macro Monarch deck to locals and actually did pretty well after not playing for a few years. All I did was look up to see what cards were banned or which ones I should take out of my deck. I only take out a few cards. And yeah, Macros. And I was like, ooh, cool. Looks like, banishing cards is still really good in the meta. But it's not really good with the Galaxy cards. But I was able to play around it. I was able to play around it pretty well too. Actually, I was surprised. It seemed like my opponents were going out of their way to get rid of the Macros cards for me, so it wasn't that much of a detriment. But then again, it's a gimmick deck, so you don't take it too seriously. I get some wins. It all worked out. Interesting duels. You'll have fun watching it.